What if I told you there's one thing that could completely flip how we think about money, the internet, and even your favorite video games? Today, we're diving into why Bitcoin isn't just another trend. It's a cerebral asset that's poised to transform everything. And to help us unpack this, we have the incredible story and insights of Michael Dunworth, a tech entrepreneur who's lived it all, from startups to the heart of the Bitcoin revolution.
This is the flavor. The people that are earning 200K a year, they're seeing this kind of advice. The people that are getting $1 million a year, they're seeing that kind of advice.
Why does Bitcoin matter so much? Why is it more than just a digital coin? And how did Michael's journey, starting with a quirky Groupon competitor, lead him to this massive revelation about Bitcoin's true potential? Stay tuned, because this story will change the way you see the future.
Kind of to understand, if you're doing 10 of these plans a day, you're starting to see 10 people a day is sort of the way that, and you're not looking at like their personal information, like, oh, what is that person? Where do they live? It's more just, this is the flavor. The people that are earning 200K a year, they're seeing this kind of advice. The people that are getting $1 million a year, they're seeing that kind of advice. The people with 20 grand a year. And you start sort of being able to draw the landscape kind of thing, because you're seeing a lot of these different advice pieces go out, and it just helps you kind of gauge, okay, how are things going in the market? What are people trending towards? Why are they doing that? What are the levers that are pulling people to make decisions and stuff? So interesting though.
Why San Francisco after that?
Okay, best way to explain it. So while I was working at Midwinter, me and two of my closest friends, we started a competitor to, was sort of Groupon at the time. Remember Groupon and all that? So what it was sort of like that. But the problem with Groupon was, let's say you and I go on a date and I'm like, yeah, let's go to like Catalina or whatever. And it's like really fancy. And it's like, oh, cool. And we sit down. It's like, oh, hi, thank you. Oh, no, I've got this. And you pull out the piece of paper and you're like, oh, can we get the deal for one glass of champagne and one entree, please? You're obviously going to be like, bro, what are you doing? And so that's a bit of an awkward interaction. And so what we did was we changed it to be, let's not make it a 75% discount, because Groupon and all that shit with these gnarly discounts, right? Now, that's not that profitable for the business. It's basically an advertising exercise, but it's a terrible one. And so you don't get repeat customers. You get basically bottom feed, like just people that are looking to grab the deal. 2 cupcakes for 50 cents. Fuck yeah, I like cupcakes, done. You're never gonna see me again because you charge $4 per cupcake, but when it's 50 cents, I'm your guy. And so that was problematic because there's no future business retention. And so that's obviously, it's exciting and, branding and stuff, but there's not actually adding to the bottom line. And so what we decided was, well, let's take all the high-end restaurants, and instead of saying 75% off, let's go 20% off. But you never show anything. So all the booking, when you book through us, everything is handled so that when the bill comes, you don't go, hey, no. Oh, sorry, we got this coupon, and you pull this shitty piece of paper that's scrunched up that you had to print off 6 days ago because your last date canceled or whatever, and now it's still scrunched up in your pocket. It's already applied directly to the bottom of the bill. You would pay us $10 for the booking, and we give you 20% off your entire bill, no questions asked. That's it. Now, how does that work? Well, you don't mind paying $10 for the booking, because if you're taking you and 5 co-workers to Catalina or to some other mad restaurant, this is, 12 years ago, 15 years ago or something longer. Anyway, but if you're going to a high-end restaurant, you've got clients, you're loving taking them to somewhere splashy, but you can actually afford it. Now it's a tax write-off. So the idea was that every restaurant is not permanently full forever. Like that's a pipe dream. You will have spare tables. The problem is every restaurant staffs like they're going to be mostly full, or sometimes they do. And the idea was that, look, the burners are on, there's waiters standing there. It's better to monetize the tables at 20% off. And no one knows that, but you know that, your business, but it's better to have full people in a restaurant, a bit of atmosphere, even if it meant a bit less to your bottom line, because that can still cover your fixed costs. If you've got the burners going to serve 100 people, but you got 20 in there, you got 3 waiters on staff, you may as well put them to work. They're fixed costs. The lights have got to be on. Make as much money as you can while you keep the lights on, and without compromising your brand and all these, ancillary or, side priorities that they might have. And so that teaches you a lot about stuff, because what we're trying to do, we're trying to build this restaurant booking platform basically to compete with Groupon. And it was such an amazing learning curve. Me and the guys, Joe and AJ, or AJ, yeah, still awesome. So anyway, those guys we're working on that, and And it came to kind of crunch time where it was, because I was still working full time. So at lunchtime, I'd go around to restaurants in the city, like on my lunch break, to go door knocking, being like, oh, hi, we've got this new software platform, blah, 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 blah. And you go in the whole pitch. But that was just the hustle. And then at nighttime, we were building it, and we had like another team member that was, an outsourced software developer that was working with us as well. But it was just like fun. Like, you're just trying to figure shit out. You know what I mean? And that's exciting. And that's what gives you the bug. And so back to your original question, why do you go to San Fran? It's like, well, when we did that, we got like, I don't know, maybe 40 or 50,000 users. Uber came to Australia. We launched with Uber, we launched partner with Uber. So that Uber didn't exist at the time. And that's what, so this like idea of going to Catalina's with work clients, and I say Catalina as an example, but just like for imagery, you go to Catalina's work clients, you've had a private car pick you up, and you've got 20% off your bill, all without saying a word to any client or anything like that. That's really powerful. And now Catalina's or whatever the restaurant, they're getting another 10 grand in. Like, one of the biggest bills we had, and people used to upload them to Facebook when they get them, it was like a $14,000 bill, and they paid like $10 for the reservation because it was $10 flat fee. We're not taking commission on the bill and stuff, and we probably could have and all that. But yeah, it was like $10, and they had like a $14,000 lunch, and so they're getting 20% off. The restaurant's happy because they weren't going to. That's a $12,000 lunch that wasn't going to even exist before, and so now they're like, or $11,200 or whatever. But that's exciting to them. So they've got $11,200 worth of revenue. Make it work. If you can't make money on that, you're going to have to, your business is wrong already. The client is thrilled because they've just taken their people to the best restaurant. They're not getting dinged full price. And they're like, fuck, this is a great trade. It cost me $10 to save $2.5 grand. That's awesome. And so that whole startup journey was like, okay, that's really cool. But Australia is quite limited, right? Like, to be the best and the best of the best, to make the biggest impact, the most you'll ever get is 26 million users. And so it's like, okay, well, actors go to Hollywood, nerds go to San Francisco. That was the idea. It's like, if you want to be the best actor in the world, you're not going to become the best actor working at the theater company down in Bondi and trying to make it big. You got to get out there, and you got to go over into the lion's den basically and see if you can survive. Because if you can survive in the environment where the best in the world are, that's like training, right? In the military, they put you through training that's going to basically make sure that you can withstand probably over and above what you're expected to out in the field or whatever. Obviously, you're not going to get trained on how to get shot. But for example, in the Navy, you're going to drown proofing yourself or, practicing drowning. You need to experience it so that you can help someone recover from it or all that kind of stuff. So basically, I felt like that would be the smartest thing. Startups have 0% chance of success, or 0.0001. You may as well try and make it 0.2% by moving country and seeing how it goes and putting yourself around the venture capital, around the smart people, around the talented engineers, if you want to try and to give yourself the best chance of success.
Did you know what you're going to get into?
Nope.
So you just said...
So I went over with we had a different idea. So the guys we were working on with Full Society, the company was called Full Society. When we moved off that, so we ended up selling that or basically transferring that to a company called timeout.com that does like what's hot in your city. And they use that as they already had like a restaurant booking thing, and they were going to plug that into there. But it wasn't so much about the money, but it was the experience we got, which was learning about starting, building, selling or creating value and actually producing something that wasn't there before. And so in that, I was like, fuck, I've got to let's go bigger. Let's see how big can you go? And so when we went to America, I'd heard about Bitcoin already. This is I went in 2013, but I'd heard about it from like video game mates and stuff online that were talking about like the idea that there's this new internet currency coming, or it's like, it's here, but it's like, it's going to be a thing.
How much was it then? When you first got wind about it?
Like when I first saw something, I think I saw like the lowest price I think I would have seen was like $7 or something, but I wasn't, I was still I wasn't in then or anything, but it's just, it's interesting because it's like, now you look back at it like, oh, think about that. And it's like, at the time you were just like, oh, this is so cool. Like, oh man, like if you're a nerd, like it's a pain in the ass having buying equipment in one game and that equipment being totally useless, or I can't transfer it to another game. It's like, you bought the big axe in World of Warcraft. Cool, now buy the big axe over here. How do I buy it? Oh, do you take World of Warcraft gold tokens? No, we take zombie tombi tokens. And you're like, do any of you cunts want to take the same fucking token? Or pardon my language, sorry, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like, and that's what I thought Bitcoin was like, oh, sick. So you fucking idiots don't need to all make your own currency. We got one for the internet. And so that was like, that's what got me interested because I like video games heaps. So I was like, oh, that's cool. But then my co-founder and I, when I moved to San Francisco.
Is he Aussie?
No. So I moved to San Francisco with an idea that we wanted to do, which was basically we were looking at this idea